Hello again, welcome back to Little Big Wins. This is where I try to anonymously, I don't know how well that's going, anonymously express my truest intentions, my expressions, my thoughts, feelings that are really little and not at all significant to the world. Like, the world really just does not care. However, that has nothing to do with that authentic inner self in me that needs to express some things and hopefully, of course, ultimately helps people. And so here, Little Big Wins is my little podcast where I express those little things important in my life. And they are big wins to me because I'm expressing things that are not significant to the world, as I've said, but they have been significant to my healings. And of course, I always give thanks to my Heavenly Father and His Son, Jesus Christ, and the wonderful atonement provided through Him, and to inspire me by and through the gift of the Holy Ghost. And today we are continuing our discussion, dating and romance. Part 2. This is part 2. If you've listened to part 1, I really kind of lay down the tracks and foundationally as to what my experience has been and what I'm actually looking for, and so I want to add on to that. And so, picking up from the last podcast, linked to this part 2 of that podcast thread, is my inability to be able to secure a male partner. And as I had said before, I do prefer them tall. I do prefer them handsome. The men in my family are tall. They are handsome. And also, are they a provider? Not that I'm like a gold digger, but are they a hunter? Are they that manly hunter? I'm also very straight, and I seek for straight men, strictly straight men. I do want this part 2 to focus on the spiritual part. Also previously in the part 1, I mentioned all the other parts, the other elements in a man that I'm also looking for, on top of the handsomeness, on top of the tallness, on top of the hunterness, right? That whole manly straightness, on top of great conversationalists or good enough conversationalists. I do want to talk about, in this part 2, the need for the spirituality, and not just spirituality in general, but something specific and aligned with the priesthood and loving the priesthood. Look, I'm not looking for a super perfect. I know and see for myself and experience for myself, there is no human on this planet perfect. And men, of course, not human. Their plumbing is just so different than women's. And I do know that everyday righteous men are... they are in battle. It's a war in their head and their entire body, and so please know that I'm not naive to what men need and how they are built. They're made so totally different, and despite all the difficulties and the hardships and the shame and the guilt that they carry, when they're trying to be righteous and they fall short of that in purity and virtue, I'm still attracted to them. I'm still attracted to men. And so I'm giving men just that, just the credit and acknowledgement, great acknowledgement, and credit for who they are and who they are naturally designed to be, and I'm in support fully of the full measure of their creation, and I welcome it. But do know that I am not blind, and certainly not naive, and it's not lost on me that the amount of war that they constantly have in their head to choose virtue, beginning with their thoughts, is difficult, really difficult. I guess all humans battle with that, but men, just the different way that they're wired and the different plumbing. I gotta give full kudos to them. I ain't bitter. I ain't mad. I'm just in total and full support. God bless the man who stays faithful to his wife and to whoever he's dating. And God bless him with the virtue that he hopes to continue to endow himself with. That's really mighty and very powerful. So anyways, in relation to that, do know that there are certain gifts or elements of spirituality I'm also seeking, on, like I started saying, on top of the physical attraction, on top of the social attraction, the conversation attraction that I have with them. I'm also looking for that man who is also seeking to quietly and most genuinely and most authentically honor his priesthood. This is not just some check off the box element I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm not being flippant about it. I'm not being arrogant about it. I'm not being I'm really quite serious about this particular element, the spirituality, but not just a general spirituality, but one that is aligned with the great priesthood of the high order of it. And if you are a member of the church that I am in, then you know about it. How serious your study is of it, well, that's a different question, and that's a different conversation. And I have learned that the priesthood is that power of God that is more than just that cliched saying, power of God. It is more than that. There are complexities in there that I see men who take it seriously. Only they understand and live by that creed of complexities. I have not been able to find a partner that also loves the priesthood as much as I would like them to have that. And of course, maybe that's something I personally have to work on, not coveting that. But however, as it stands, I do covet that. That is... I don't want the priesthood for myself. What I'm looking for is a man that will honor that and will spend the rest of his days studiously in the university of the temple, taking that holy order of the priesthood most seriously. Very serious. Sure, look, we can have days where we're goofing off and having fun, as all people do, but I want to see that he has a reserve for the holy order of the priesthood. I think when people are on the outside looking in, or on the inside approaching the priesthood and studying it, they find that it's more like a dictatorship or the Third Reich, and frankly, I think those particular readings of such a wonderful and mighty complex thing as the priesthood, they're wrong. Those are the wrong attitudes to have towards it. There are people who, insiders, even members of our church inside and out, some who have left this church, okay, that's cool, that's up to them. But my understanding, my lifelong understanding and growth in researching the priesthood is far... has outdone my expectations in finding out what that is, what the priesthood actually is. And it is really complex, very complex, and something to be taken very seriously, very seriously. Please know that in my previous, the part 1, dating and romance, and what I'm looking for, the good looks, the tallness, the height, the conversationalism, the certain respect, that particular aspect, those are wonderful. I need those. But this part 2 episode, I really want to reaffirm the spiritual element and what type of spiritual element I'm looking for. Okay, in addition, of course, to him being a hunter, good looking, and all that. It's not unusual for a gal to want that in her life. Want that male, that type of male in her life. And again, I thought I could help a previous partner walk in that light. And he decided in the middle of the game, at the halftime show, to just quit and to leave. And so he never really got a chance to earn the priesthood for himself and his life. And I was really sad about that. And so he's walked away from our union, which is really sad. And he is accountable for that for sure. But anyway, in the brighter talks of this situation, the brighter side of this situation, I really want to emphasize that the spiritual part of it, a la the priesthood, is the direction and the element I am really looking for. Above all else, this really is the thing. And the priesthood is it's clearly not just a particular power that you hold to appear a certain way publicly. It is certainly not a power that you hold to have the wrong type of dominion. Certainly not. It is, however, a guide to a man within the covenant and trying to live the covenant path, to pay attention more closely to the gift of the Holy Ghost, that very mysterious, beautiful, wonderful third member of the Godhead, who prompts all of us, and prompts, in the case of a man trying to be righteous, prompts him to use the priesthood to serve, to bless, to give, to work, to be not just a hunter, but a certain type of hunter. And not just a conversationalist, but a certain type of conversationalist, and of course listener. To be a certain type of handsome, and to be a certain type of a stalwart height. And to honor the many, many patriarchs, so that he can become like unto those patriarchs from the centuries and centuries before, since the days of Adam. And so I wanted to express that here. And although I am still in pursuit, but I'm still in pursuit of that, or wanting that. Even in my upper age, I'm still seeking that. I'm not, side note here, I'm not really someone who chases men. I feel that is, chasing really is left up. That's something the men should do. They are hunters after all. So I just let them do the chasing. Just the ones that are chasing me, I have not quite been able to cross the river in success yet. However, while I am in pursuit, and while I am enjoying still the company of men, and still trying to read them, and still trying to platonically be around them so that we can enjoy each other's attractions to each other, and still enjoy their company, and still have fun with them in safe ways, I am still seeking for the elements that I've talked about in the part 1 podcast, and in this one, of course, seeking someone who loves the priesthood, just loves it. And I'm finding that men who lean towards their natural design of being a man, it's a really beautiful, wonderful thing. The fullest measure of their creation includes being in charge. And but there's a certain type of being in charge that I see that the Lord is trying to mold priesthood holders into. They may be in charge of large organizations. They may be in charge of small-time operations. I definitely allow them to be in charge of my home, because, every man's home is their castle, and any entity attempting to infiltrate, to lay it under siege, well, of course, the king of the castle, I would expect him to not allow that to happen. So those are particular traits that I wanted to express here with regards to dating and romance. The spiritual part of it is, above all else, my greatest want of all the elements I have listed. And let's go again through that list. Of course, handsome face, the height, the tallness, the conversationalism, and of course the listening, the hunterism, going out and having aspirations and having the right types of ambitions within, of course, the righteous boundaries of the Lord. And of course, again, above all else, at the way top of that list is, I'm seeking for a man who loves being a man, heterosexual and straight, very straight. I'm super straight. That aligns himself with the callings of priesthood, complexities, and duties. You might be thinking that, I'm looking for some non-existent male. And that's just not true. Look at how many righteous men there are. We can always talk about the unrighteous. We can always talk about those men who really, they really did it in for themselves. Really horrible. But I don't want to talk about that today. I want to talk about the wonderful guardians of priesthood preservation, and those who every day are in that war in their head, morally and ethically, and choose the right anyway. They return home to their wives. They're faithful to their fiancés and their girlfriends. They attempt to be virtuous at every turn. Very difficult in this world where smut is just found everywhere. All they have to do is click on their phone and voila, boom, the war begins. So please know that I do have great respect for them in battle, and priesthood holding males. They're at the top of my list. Please know that I have not given up on seeking, and I have faith in that, and know that I see that over time we have men who have stood the test of time, who honor that and honor their families. I just love it. I just love it. May these feel supported, certainly by me, and upheld and admired and looked up to and loved and adored. For those men who have fallen, may you find the grace to locate the Son of God and His atonement to help you get back up and to revisit those old fires that you started, the carnage that you may have caused, and that you have the choice in choice making and the inner resolution to clean up the mess that you have left behind, to face those demons, and face those who you have left behind in carnage, to re-love them and to seek forgiveness and to work in the atonement towards that, so that you may also be a cleaner vessel in pursuit of virtue and in pursuit of the priesthood. I hope you join us again. I might do a dating and romance part 3. It's often dating and romance is often everyone's favorite topic. Some people, it's like secretly their favorite topic. So I hope I've been helpful. In any case, I'm just expressing things that the world at large really does not care about. I am happy to say, just something I found today in the New York Post. I am conservative. My politics do run conservative, especially these days, in the last few years, thanks to my mother. She's just a wonderful Trump supporter, and I've become a researched Trump supporter myself, prayerfully researching politics in that way. And I gotta say, he does allow men to feel like they're men. Absolutely. I'm grateful that he himself, the president, our current president, is also more vocal about protecting and also engaging on a personal level those things that are of Christ. Awesome. But in any case, I'm grateful that in the New York Post today, I read that there is a rise in dating and romance for conservatives. People are looking for conservative partners for that traditional marriage, the values there. I love that. And younger people are finding themselves really loving the traditional conservative approaches towards marriage, which is a man and a woman and having children. And, those who are in their upper ages are also part of that, still seeking for that traditional conservative. I've got some bells and whistles. Also something more personalized for me in that conservative seeking in dating and romance. I was happy to see that the movement is now nicknamed Make America Hot Again, which I think is really cute. But in any case, I'm glad that traditionalism and conservatism is not just found in my own spiritual spheres and communities. We could find them in these secular ones, and these secular spaces of people seeking traditional and conservative marriages include now more outspokenness and less shyness about worshiping in Christianity. I really love that, and I am loving witnessing and watching communities re-rise in that conservatism and in that traditionalism. Of course, at large, perhaps the world does not care for that. However, to each their own, and may they have their little big wins in dating and romance, and to do it the Lord's way. Okay, signing off here, and hope to have you join us again on Little Big Wins.